And hold on. Pop us up on the Instagram. On the gram. All right, we're live.
Let's go.
Take it away.
Question is, how do I mute this?
Mute what?
What's going on, y'all? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
All right. What's going on, y'all? We are live in the Blue Collar Society podcast. Tonight we have Kit Bender from RockSteadyTileCo. Tile Company. Oh shit, you did the start. You did the wait, what'd you do? Look, that's so fucking cool, yo.
How are we doing that?
You just gotta throw up depends on the gesture you throw up, I guess. There you
It's
go.
an AI thing?
Is it?
It's an iOS thing, you fuck.
What?
Oh, it's an iOS thing. Okay.
Oh, fancy.
I was sitting there like, oh, what's going on? But
Well, let's get into it. Kip, you want to start off telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from?
Oh yeah. Well, what do you want to know, man? I'm just like I'm a regular guy. I'm not important. So what do you want? Origin story? You want to know where I'm from and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a small background.
Yeah. Quick
mother's
background.
maiden name, social security.
I was phone number. I was born and raised in South Carolina. So I graduated high school in 2003, and a day after I graduated high school, I moved to Kentucky. I was 17. Okay, so I moved up here. My old man gave me a leather tool pouch. Said, "You're going to need this." Right. he fully anticipated me moving back home because I was chasing a woman fresh out of high school. And he said, "You'll be back." And I said, "I'll prove you wrong, old man." So 3 years ago, he retired after 30 years Army and moved to Kentucky, right? Because I proved his ass wrong.
Nice.
So
That's a cool.
I was 17. I couldn't really get a good job, man. So I started on a framing crew, started building houses. Did that for quite a while, 2 years or so. And after a few Kentucky winters and summers, I said, "Shit, man, I gotta get to the inside work." So I started working for a guy for $7 an hour cash, laying hardwood and learning setting tile. Probably completely wrong. All the methods we learned back then. I was just getting after it. I was 19 years old doing what I was told, but looking back on it now, shit was awful, right? So. I had a family young. So that girl that I was chasing, I married the day that I turned 18. So when I married her at 18, and we're still together today. So we've been together 20 plus years.
Nice.
Like, Dad, come here. Yeah, I told you so.
When you get that sort of thing, man, a ride or die chick that'll go with you wherever, man. We've been in the trenches. When I had nothing, living in the trailer park, single wide. Just barely getting by. I worked the construction gig during the daytime, and then I worked at a factory at night on the third shift. So I was working 16 hours a day for a few years, just grinding, trying to make it. We had a family young, married young. So we were just getting after it, dude. She was working too. So finally I grew through the ladder. I got to a point where we had 2 daughters, and I had to leave the crazy hours behind. So I went full-time into the corporate world at that factory, started growing leadership, management, that sort of thing. Kind of capped out for a guy with no education. I pick up on things quick, but I got to the point where I was maxed out, and I had work cell phones 24/7, answering a phone for another man, making him $1 million. And I was like, hell with this stuff, man. So went in business for myself, back to the trades. I was doing general contracting, building additions, full remodels, things like that. But I decided to niche down to specifically bathrooms and tile. I call myself a tile company, but we're a bathroom remodeling company is what we are. We've got subcontractors. I've got W-2 employees. Like the 2 guys that you see in our videos, they're my employees. Top notch, man. Those dudes have been around me since they were 20 years old. Now they're pushing 30. They know exactly what the quality standards are. They know exactly what the performance standards are. They know what the vision of the company's about. And we're just rocking and rolling, man. And so we just started making content back in March of this year because we were like, I proposed to my main guy, Devin, here. And I was like, look, man, we can start this short form stuff. I'll guarantee you I'll guarantee you we can make some money. Like that's obviously, I mean, we're not out here for charity, right? We're out here to try and make some dough. But the video stuff has always been a hobby of mine. I'm a nerd by nature, man. So I was always making funny videos to send to my buddies. I would spend hours making these videos for nothing, dude. I'd send
that you can make in like 2 minutes now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure, dude. But like I was spending all this time sending them to 3 people. 3 people, and they were all like, "Oh shit, that's funny, man. You should put that on the internet." I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not doing that shit." And then finally, once I got another group of guys that was like, "Hey, man, yeah," and they're 10 years younger than me, so they're kind of in that generation. And I was like, "Dude, let's do it. Let's do it." So I do a lot of editing and filming. Devin does a lot of editing and filming. Chad is our main actor. That's our playboy. You know what I mean? So we try and cast him in a funny light, so it's all good times, man. We're just rocking and rolling, building a business, providing for my employees, feeding families, like I've got mouths to feed. So everything we do is kind of bottom line oriented, but with high quality mentality. We don't cut corners. The services that we provide to our customers is, 100% customer satisfaction is our standard. There is no standard. I've lost money on jobs to make sure that it was right. You know what I mean? Like I'm not into it because I've worked for contractors. I've worked with contractors of all trades. I've seen how they operate. You guys know, right? It's the cut the corners. It's the get it done. It's the, we're going to get in and out of here. We know what the spec price is. We're done. But I wanted to kind of stand away from that and stand out. So that's what we're doing.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
The quality speaks for itself.
What'd you say, Omar?
Oh, no, I said the quality speaks for itself. I mean, you can see it in the installs and the videos.
Right on, dude. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, I was actually curious as to how the hell you answered it already, but I was curious as to how you became so good at making content, because your shit just kind of flows, man. You're fucking good at this shit, man.
Super nerd. I obsess over this sort of stuff, right? Anything new. I've always been a guy who likes to learn new things. And whenever I do get into something, I give it 130%, right? And I try and bring other people with me. That's just who I am. So,
hey, Kip, can you see the YouTube chat?
No, I don't know shit.
No, on
It'll
the
be
right
under
side of your
comments.
screen, it
Steve,
says
the bathroom
comments.
remodeling teacher. He said you're the new rock star.
Yeah, so if you go on the comment section on the right side,
Fancy.
anybody that watches the stream can actually comment and talk in there and ask questions.
Only on the YouTube side, the Instagram comments don't
What's
go
up,
through.
chat?
I'm
What's up,
monitoring Instagram.
Where you at,
You're
Chad?
like a streamer now.
What up, chat?
I'm the man now.
Streamers now get the hot tub.
Even Steve said that. He's like, his video content makes me feel like I have to keep up. I mean, Steve's been doing it for a long time, and he has his own way of doing it. But like your way, your videos, that was the thing that got me to your account, was the silica video.
Oh yeah, man.
So yes, so I was looking at that and I was like, because I had questions on my own.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I use that stuff all the time for my for the niches, whatever the hell they're called. Yep. So I use those a lot, and when you do it without a mask, you'll know.
Oh man,
like you're stuffed up. It's bad. So
see, and I don't know what you're going on about, because that stuff doesn't taste so bad. No.
So
yeah, let me take you through what led to that video, okay? Please. So now I'll be fully transparent. That video was fear-mongering at its best, okay? Like I'm not gonna lie, dude. I went full ABC, Fox News sort of fear-mongering. So
next day was cutting it.
Oh man, dude, there were people on there just trashing me for the fear-mongering, which is okay. For me, it's the internet, right? And you got to grab attention however you can. And
absolutely.
So whenever I see that sort of thing, I noticed a few articles maybe a year ago on the dangers of this engineered stone. And I'm like, shit, man, I use this stuff every day. right? I'm out there, dude. I'm cutting it with a grinder. I'm just breathing. And I realized for the next day or so, I was like, yeah, it's in the back of your throat. You get that penny taste, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this cannot be good for you, right?
Nah.
Well, then I started seeing articles that there was this large population of Hispanics in the West that were just fucking dying, right?
Yep.
They're 25, 26 years old. And
very young.
Of course, I'm looking at these articles, total fear-mongering articles, right? About these Hispanic men dropping dead, work conditions, this, that, and the other. So I was like, maybe I'll read into it. And it turns out all of those boys were from they're in the countertop industry. And I see all the guys around here. So all the countertop guys in my region are either Hispanic or Chinese, right?
Same here. And Steve just backed part of that up too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, Steve, my man. And so I was like, damn, so there's got to be something to this. And so I started paying attention to my countertop guys around my region. No regard for safety, like no regard for PPE. These boys are just getting it done, man. They're getting their money. They're sending it home. It is what it is, right? And then guys come to the country. They're getting a job, hustling. They're getting a job on a granite crew, solid surface crew, whatever. And then all of a sudden, 10 years goes by of this hustle, and all of a sudden this percentage of boys are developing these crazy lung conditions, right? And they're like, oh, what could it be? What could it be? Well, it's silicosis. We know all about it. I mean, the historical factors are there. We had asbestos, we had silicosis, all the concrete industries, the building industries, all that kind of stuff. But I will say that, through governmental safety standards and protocols, we've done a good job at making it go away, right?
I mean, it's the first time I've heard of it when I saw your video. So
right. I mean, but 20, 30 years ago, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
It was all over the place before my time, but I can read articles too, and the shit was there.
So I'm wondering, I'm curious, because at least the granite shops that I've been in, it's always like pneumatic tools and water, right? They're in like not neoprene suits, and I mean you drive up to the warehouse and you just hear, and they got like 4 compressors with engines on it that they constantly keep gas in, and I mean so I would think the dust is down lower, but I guess it still gets airborne.
I'll bet you,
and water.
I can't say this for a fact, man, but I'll guarantee you at the fabrication facilities, at their warehouse, I'll guarantee you they're using water tools, right? They're using, number one, a lot of them are using CNC tables.
Yes.
CNC milling for the countertops and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're coming into your kitchen, shooting lasers and laying your countertops out that way. But it's the boys in the truck.
True. The actual,
They're coming in. They're still cutting faucet holes. They're still polishing rounded edges. They're still fabricating. And not one, I've been in this for a long time.
Yeah.
I've never in my life seen one wearing a mask.
Yeah. You just.
Yeah. And when you talk to them, you're like, hey, how you guys been busy? They're like, yeah, we got 4, we got 5 to do today. We got to go.
Yeah.
Dude, they're grinding, man. They're grinding sun up, sun down, breathing in that shit. Granite, quartz, other false quartz
substances.
Dude. Not oxygen and nitrogen. It's not good, right? So
with
and then smoking on the way out.
Yep.
The one that you posted, funny because an article came up, and in Australia they actually banned it starting next year. You probably saw it too. So, and in the bottom it said, California and New York are listening. Like, but you guys are gonna ban this shit over here too.
California and New York are always listening to some kind of government overreach program. That's what they're doing, right? I mean, as a contractor, as a builder, as a blue collar guy, I think you must take responsibility for your own health and your own actions. You can't rely on the government to make rules for you to tell you what's going to be safe and what's not going to be safe. I mean, we're smart people. You can read articles. You can read MSDS sheets. You can say,
we know which end of the crayon to eat.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, it's one of those things. Like, so I realized it. I saw an article. I read up on it. And I said, "Hey, dumbass, put a mask on." Right? Put a mask on.
Yeah.
Hey, and by the way, you have guys that work for you that you ask to do this stuff too. Take care of them as a business owner. Spend the $500, $600, $700. Take care of your guys. Right? It's a one-time purchase. You protect their life. It's crazy.
Yeah,
You know?
you're basically in charge of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this earlier. I was like, oh, hey, if California or New York bans it, it's like we're gonna make some money smuggling some countertops into other states. It won't be long before we see helicopter footage like this. We just caught this criminal with 800 linear feet of a countertop.
Yeah, man. How long is not the answer?
Don't worry about that. That's
We
just a
all know-
crackhead.
Yeah, I think
no,
we all
that was-
know the answer is not rules, right?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I live in
I don't know
New
what you're
York,
talking
and I can
about.
tell you from gun, with gun rules and every rules they ever impose on us, it doesn't work. It just impedes your life, really. It just makes things more complicated. But no, it was interesting because I use a lot of that, like,
Same.
and I cut a lot of that. And one time I remember it was because I'll get a sinus headache.
Yep.
Because I have allergies and it was bad. And I was like, okay, I really got to start wearing my mask or at least be outside. You know what I mean? I'm doing this in a room. I have the vacuum so I don't dust up the whole place, but still you're like sitting on it, even minor adjustments, even, the edge of the niches, you want to polish the edge of the tiles just to get the jolly trim to sit flat. I've done that and I'm sitting there and this thing is, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should step outside and, put a mask on, but that video,
Just do what everybody else
does.
Just look away
Hold
and
your
take
breath.
a deep breath.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is each one of us sitting in these little squares on this screen know the different tastes of ceramic, porcelain, quartz, granite. We all know the taste.
Yep. Ceramic's got the brick. It's got the brick taste.
That's right.
No, we use that like when we mix thin sets. Like, we
Same.
just smush it on there. You chip a
I
tile.
mean, because I made a post about that. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was when I used the Laticrete grout. That bag actually says it's silica dust free, and it's not like this shit is in everything that would like. It's in not just the tile setting materials. It's in sheetrock. It's in
pretty much any cement based product.
Like it's in fucking everything, man. And I do a little bit of everything. I like tile work is probably the trade that I do the least amount of work in, but you were saying that we all know the different tastes, man. Like, dude, I think the worst one would have to be that stone that comes from, well, I don't want to say it that way, but what's that shit called? The fucking not fabricated, it's fucking it's man-made stone.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And
engineered stone. That's what it's called.
Engineered stone. That's exactly the word.
It's got a specific smell and taste to it. Yes,
it really does. That's man, it's the worst, bro. It is the absolute fucking worst, man.
And that's the shit that's killing the boys out west.
Yep, that is.
Man.
But only the Hispanics, right? No.
So mainly Hispanics, and I mean that's just statistically.
Harry, you're saying. Oh wait, no, Harry, you're not saying.
They're doing it.
I'm doing my best to take care of myself, man. I can't talk about them. But I noticed that a lot of the guys that I have worked around, they all have this little weird cough. And I'm like, man, it's just.
We work in construction. That's not silica.
Cough. Like, but I've never really heard that cough around. I've never heard, like, I've worked in steel shops and I never heard guys in the steel shop, coughing like that. I've worked around carpenters and I never heard them coughing like that. Like, it's all people that are involved in like tile and stone.
Well, all the guys in the steel shop are squinting. They can't see.
If you don't know, kid, that is the Joker of the fucking podcast.
I couldn't tell.
Man. Okay.
How you doing?
Now you know.
Hey.
I gotta enlighten these older folk.
He happens to be also
not
the
Harry.
youngest
Harry's
guy in the
28.
group, but
Harry being the second youngest at 28.
Yeah, I tell you, man. So one of the things that because a lot of my most popular videos are engineered stone fabrication, right? Like I built a niche. I had this idea because I'm a woodworker by nature, right? Like by trade, I'm a woodworker. I kind of grew up.
Drive you nuts.
I grew up in a machine shop and I grew up in a wood shop, And I just kind of landed on tile. I mean, nobody picks, hey, I want to be a tile guy, right? So
Nope.
So
You just kind of it just kind of happens.
You just
you
look at your
fall
check.
into it.
Okay, I can do this.
Yeah. And so I had some ideas of building some it's basic joinery, right? But I did it with engineered stone versus wood. And those got pretty popular. And there were people in there, I mean, with super hippie names in their handles, and they were like, "You should put a mask on." And I'm like, fuck off, And then I started reading articles, and I was like, that's probably right.
I put a mask on.
I'll put a mask on. Oh, and by the way, everybody's dying because of this stuff, So
yeah, man.
It's bad
No,
stuff. I mean, we're back to the basically the asbestos situation, because when I bought my house, it had vermiculite. I'm sure you're aware of vermiculite. It looks like popcorn. Literally, it came in the homeowners could buy it in the store, go into the attic and pour it.
Yep.
And when I bought the house, I was like, "What the hell is this stuff?" And I'm up there. I'm in the attic walking around. I'm like, whatever. I Google it, and they actually have a trust specifically set up for this to pay the homeowners to clean it, because it was the problem was it was mined somewhere where the vermiculite itself doesn't have it, but it was mined next to something that had asbestos, and it got mixed up. And I mean, you have to, they didn't know. Allegedly, but because asbestos really is a good insulator, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, we use it in brakes, we use it on everything. And that's what I said with silica, it's on everything, just like asbestos is still in a lot of things that people don't even realize it's still there. It's just minimized now. Like you can't use it to spray the fake snow on your Christmas tree like you used to back in the 50s. Yeah, that was all asbestos.
Well, and the other thing too is, and a lot of people have come through the comment sections and they say things about, how that's bad for you, how this is bad for you. Clearly, I mean, anything that's not oxygen and nitrogen is bad to breathe, right? It doesn't matter. Cigarette smoke, all these materials, hell, a dust storm, you know what I mean? Break dust.
Yeah, they'll tear you up.
Any man-made material is bad to breathe, but there are some worse than others because they're so carcinogenic, right? Like asbestos. Mm-hmm. And now we're finding out this engineered stone is pretty bad shit, Yeah.
And that, if you're cutting it with water too, you also have to think the mist.
Sure.
You're still breathing that in. That's still the silica itself. So once it dries in your lungs, it's still going to probably be the same outcome. So even if you're using water, I think to some degree, you not want to inhale all that water,
Well, I would say, man, water probably is the answer, honestly, to keep it out of the air. And if you're running dry saws like I do, because I want to, I just use, a lot dust extraction and respirators, so if you're doing it, wear the PPE and use the tools that are proper and go from there.
Dude,
I know the question. You
talking about me?
Question?
The chop saw.
Motherfucker.
Because that was my question. I was
brilliant shit, bro. Like,
whatever.
Huh?
That's basic shit, man.
Nah, I was.
Okay, don't call us retarded like that.
I would have never fucking thought about it, man. You got me with my chop saw and my damn table saw out back. I'm like, man, I should have been using this as my tile saw for a long time.
He's sitting there like, shit, I bought a new tile saw too this time. Fuck.
Because
I was like, I said, shit, I can't afford an IQ saw. I'm just going to put it on my table saw.
It doesn't work for engineered stone. It maybe gets a quarter of the dust. I promise you, it doesn't do anything, and it chips really bad on engineered stone.
Well, I can make an argument against that, and I've got some videos coming out to show about it. But I'll accept your statement.
Well, with the IQ saw itself, so the couple problems that we ran into with the IQ saw was, one, as you're pushing it, it starts to move the blade, so it doesn't stay straight. Like I don't know if it's the arbor, I don't know if it's the blade itself, but it tends to either widen.
I think it's the fence. So with the engineering on that IQ 228 table saw that I bought, the fence, while it's sturdy, the clamping mechanisms are good. It's a fine fence, it's not long enough, right? The fence needs to be longer because anytime you're trying to lead in a long piece of stock into a saw of any kind of nature, you need a long fence for guidance. And so the IQ fence is only 8 to 9 inches long. I haven't measured it. So when you're feeding in a piece of stock, you're going back and forth.
Much play, yeah.
So with any, if it's a table saw and you're running a 2x4 through it, it walks, right? So with that, the fence is so short that piece of stock is allowed to move a little too much, and you're cutting stone with a turbo mesh blade essentially, and it's going to guide how it wants to. So you've got to keep it as still and square as possible. The fence just isn't long enough.
So we have someone on Instagram, just kind of catch up on the comments that are going here. Says, so tile guys always want to get away from starting out actually installing, and then eventually they say, yeah, I can do it, but rather just hire someone else. It's a good grind set, but he's noticed he's noticed that a lot with the subs that he uses. So, but I guess also
is this a GC talking?
No, I think he's a project manager.
Oh, gotcha. What are they? What do they do?
He actually, I actually know this guy personally. But I'm not going to put his business out there. And then he was talking about the fiber showers. I guess those fiber showers actually are something, not something to mess with either. The little ones you throw out, the acrylic ones, is like that acrylic fiber stuff.
The one piece,
like the Onyx stuff.
Yeah, and it says he said it's like LVP, and then he did some plumbing for a while. So my man was meeting Jesus on the purple primer, hashtag Odie. What's up with the, but that's all that vacuum and wet sponge. That's his technique. And then he says, use chop saw for everything. See, my man's a trim carpenter. So chop saw.
That was the whole thing with when I noticed the chop saw video, right? I saw that you were using a chop saw. I was like, okay, so he took carpentry and put it into tile. Brilliant. Basically. So, and I was like, all right, I got a nice battery operated one. I said, I'm not going to torture that poor thing. So I got to get a corded one because obviously with stone, it needs more RPMs. Batteries, I don't think will do it.
Man, I would argue against it. My DeWalt, I don't know what the model number is off the top of my head, but the one that you always see in the videos, that's cordless. That's DeWalt cordless, runs on DeWalt batteries. The thing that's misunderstood is engineered stone is extremely soft. I mean, the density of the particles inside of the shit is not firm. It's just pressed and polished. It's not a baked ceramic or a baked porcelain, So when you throw a turbo mesh blade on your chop saw, it cuts right through it like butter. And same for on the table saw. It cuts great. But, let's just put a disclaimer out there. Don't cut tile on the chop saw setup. Okay. It's not good.
No, too late.
No. Tile definitely.
What about the compound one with the slider?
Yeah, I ran a test one time and I posted a video of it. And it's a backsplash where I carved a T out of another piece of tile and put it in.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that video.
I ran that specifically. I mean, the only reason I'm a data guy. So I ran that specifically to see if I could send out my crew with a lightweight loadout for doing backsplashes. So if I were going to say, hey, I've got a backsplash. If you want it for a weekend job, it's going to pay you this much. You can go knock it out. You don't even need to take the service van. You can just grab these few loadout tools. That was the idea, right? Instead of having to carry wet saws and all that kind of stuff. It works fine, but I wouldn't trust it in a normal loadout, right? I'm not gonna just run the chop saw on ceramic tile all the time. So
yeah, no, I saw that and I thought about it too. I'm like, maybe in a Subway, 4x12 kind of situation, soft ceramic, I would say. You're probably best bet. But anything like any sturdy stuff, you're either going to chop it, it's going to kick. It doesn't have a way to hold it down perfectly. Even when you try to do jolly trim, you do it on the chop saw. I mean, we've seen everybody do that where even Steve can attest to that. He's bent when it grabs the teeth. And
rookie mistake. You got to use 2x4s and clamp it so it can't go nowhere.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody says, man. I'm not cutting Schluter trim on a chop saw with a wood blade. Dude. I ain't doing it.
Oh, dude, I cut it on with a framing blade. The one that comes with it, I go real slow.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it, and I've done it, but it's hairy, bro. It's hairy.
Yeah.
No, it's kicked.
That thing down, man. But when it finally when that oh shit moment happened, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? Never doing that again.
It kicks. It kicks.
No,
That
have you ever
was bad.
have you ever cut it with your thumb too close and it bends up and you're like, fuck, is it still there?
Dude,
Oh.
I've done some really stupid shit. So I mean, yeah.
I
tell you what,
man.
When I posted that tile trim square video, that little review thing, there were a lot of guys in the chat, right? And some of them soft hand brother types, and they were like, just put it on the miter saw, put it on the miter saw. And I was like, dude, no.
Well,
like, I'm not doing it, man.
You put it on the
was
miter
told-
saw.
I was
So
told
hold
to
on,
do
there
it,
is-
but turn the blade backwards so that the blade's
Yes.
spinning backwards. And
Well,
I'm
I mean,
like,
if you're
I
cutting
don't know.
vinyl, we used to do that for cutting vinyl siding. Works great for cutting
Yes.
vinyl. You
have
can
to.
do it for cutting aluminum, but anybody that spent any time in a machine shop knows aluminum needs to be cut slow. I mean, that's just the way it is. Anytime you cut aluminum fast, you slag and shred and all that kind of stuff, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that aluminum probably shouldn't be cut with a framing blade.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna
I think-
fuse your blade with your stock material.
Yeah.
I think it was either Tilebro. It might have been Tilebro that did it with the square on a
Yep.
chop saw.
Yep.
So it was his video, and I saw it, and I was like, I don't know, man.
Well,
I still don't trust it.
From my perspective, he was probably just trying to show another avenue because you do have so many.
Yeah.
I ain't buying that shit. I cut it on my miter saw,
I mean,
He's like,
personally,
hey, look, man, this can work on that too.
personally, because I mostly don't run wet saws, because obviously
don't?
here in New York, in New York now it's like 20 degrees, so you want to run a wet saw, you're gonna be miserable. You know, as it is, I hate washing the damn
You're
bucket,
gonna get ice splinters.
basically.
Oh, dude.
So what I end up
we're-
using my sawzall, my hand
Yep.
sawzall, and just slowly but surely just get to knock it. I use the new Latticrete trim too, which is different
Yeah.
because it doesn't have the grout line stopper that Jolly
Oh,
has.
Yeah.
So this one actually slides behind, so you don't have to put grout on it. It just
Yeah,
it hides it.
It's like the
whole
Blanky
time.
trims.
I gotcha.
Kind of
I
like the
gotcha.
Blanky trim, yeah. So
So,
At
and
first I
Kip,
was-
he's got a plumbing background, so his sawzall is his tool of choice. That's his multi-tool.
All fucking plumbers use a sawzall for everything.
for everything.
My man said,
Oh,
"You want me
man.
to cope that? Give it here."
Yeah. I
Yeah,
got
no,
you.
and I learned from another plumber too here in New York City. He doesn't use cutters. He just uses a grinder. So he's like, I just take the grinder and cut the copper. It's just as easy. He's like, I'm not sitting there cranking away, hurting my wrist. He's like, it takes 2
Forget
seconds.
about it, man.
He's
Forget
like, just
about
don't nick because he does buildings. He's like, just don't nick another line because we can't shut this building down for the rest of the day. Like we have to get in and out. And those are
Well, I think-
shutdowns are the worst.
I think that shit's wild, man, dude. I'm from a small town in South Carolina, and I moved to a small town in Kentucky, and I see some of these fellas on TikTok and Instagram, like some of these New York plumbers and shit. I'm like, holy hell, man! How does that even work?
Crazy.
What's
I
a
had
permit?
questions
No.
Yeah, I had questions with the drain because all you have to in New York City's no clamp or no hubs and cast iron for the drains. So I was like, why? It's so much work. You have to literally clamp everything. It's like it'll take forever. And then my friend was like, if you flush a toilet on the 50th floor, what do you think is gonna happen when it goes straight down at that
Yeah,
speed?
Hey, man,
He's like,
I've never
plastic,
been on
it'll go right through it.
nothing.
That
Hey.
and
Hey,
Since you've lived your whole life here in the South, I just recently came across this little fact. This little
South.
interesting.
the cell.
Matter of fact, Omar, does this apply to the Northeast as well? Because it says that out here you should leave your faucets on drip in these cold weather.
Yeah.
so let me tell you that from my perspective, back in South Carolina, it got cold, but it didn't stay cold. You'd get
Yeah.
a cold night, then it'd warm up the next day. It wouldn't get cold,
Right.
and you'd only have a couple of weeks of that before you were okay. In Kentucky, it gets cold and it stays cold for about 3 months. So yeah,
It's bullshit.
if you don't have
So-
frost-proof silcox on the outside of your house,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, the
You
Madonnas?
gotta shut it down.
Yeah, you either need to leave it dripping or you got to put a foam cap on it or something like that. Now, there's a lot of folks here that have old uninsulated homes where
That's
the
what I was
crawl
gonna say.
space doesn't have proper insulation, or it's so vented that shit, man, it's a 40-mile-an-hour breeze of 10-degree, air coming through under the house.
All copper lines too. Takes an hour for them to heat up.
Yep. And so you got to leave most folks will be in a rental house here, and they'll have to leave the faucet dripping so it keeps the flow moving so it don't freeze up.
Yeah, I mean, that goes with that has to do with actually it can get cold, and yes, eventually the cold will freeze pipes, but it's actually the wind. So if there's constant wind on a pipe, it'll freeze it like that instantly. And the drip thing is if you have a house that's known to not have insulation in the walls, quote unquote, empty beer cans and newspapers that they used to use to insulate houses. If you know you have that issue and it's happened before, yes, you can put it on a drip because as long as the water is moving, because think about it, you see streams. Yeah, the top is frozen, but the bottom continues to flow. So as long as there's movement, it won't completely freeze to a block. So that's what you're trying to.
Every faucet in the house needs to drip, or just
just one.
The kitchen sink dripping.
Just whichever one's problematic. Like, because most of some spots of the house will be safe because obviously it's inside. Like your bathroom's in the middle of the house or closer to the middle, then you really don't need to do that. But if your kitchen is on the outside wall or a bathroom's on the outside wall, those will be more prone because the outside walls, they used to not really insulate them that well. Because in the South, it wasn't going to get cold.
A lot of times here in my area, people that are from here, here's a little secret. People that are from here consider this the South. It's not. It's the Midwest, right? So it gets cold as shit here. I'm from the South. They're not.
Hey, Misha.
So, a lot of times folks here will have a utility room that was at one time in a carport that got closed in to become some kind of garage.
Yeah.
So walls are not insulated properly. Oh yeah, their washer.
It's called the redneck edition.
Yeah. Oh, their washer and dryer are out there, and oh my God, it's February, and my washer line busted. Well, no shit. It's not insulated, and it ruptured. It just happens.
I mean, like another thing too with like in the South Carolina, North Carolina, even the main lines are not buried below the frost because most of the times you don't get frost. Here we have to be at least minimum, I think it's 18 inches into the ground.
Really?
The main water lines. Yeah, because otherwise they'll freeze.
Yeah.
So the frost line, I believe, is 14. So that's why I tell you to do 18.
For
Same
us,
thing
it's
with
12.
sewer. There you go. So that's why I remember because I used to run main water lines when I was a plumber, and it had to be a certain depth. Otherwise, it will freeze just by being out there. Because think about it. Your main line comes from the road into your house. It has to be in a point where it can still stay insulated. So, but that's with the drip. I've had it in my house where I had it because when I renovated the house, one outdoor light was letting air in just enough where it would hit the pipe in a certain spot. If you're lucky and you have PEX, is nice because you could just reach in, grab it, and it actually just breaks the frost.
Yeah, man.
If it's copper, just hope it doesn't split because once it
gone.
thaws out.
Or at least at your joints.
Like, oh, you're gonna you thaw it out. You're like, oh, this is gonna be great. Well, guess what? It's thawed out,
coming, dude.
Well, I don't watch the news, but at the customer's house I'm working at, they had the news playing for the dogs and shit. And I'm trying to listen to my podcast and whatnot. And I heard the news person come on and they're like, "Don't forget to leave your faucets on drip tonight." And I'm like, why do they do that?
Scare chat.
Aren't you from Connecticut? Like you're in a much colder climate. Y'all don't drip your faucets up there?
Hell no.
It's probably all insulated properly.
Yeah. We're talking about cold, and Omar's like
never been a thing, man.
the one New Yorker.
I live back home in Connecticut. I've never heard of pipes freezing. I mean, then again, I was fucking not that pipes or anything involving my mom's house or wherever we were living at the time was something I thought about and shit like that. I was fucking just worrying about wrestling and football and shit at the time. But
yeah.
Now as an adult, I just kind of find all these things and I'm like, man, why the fuck do I have to do this? Adulting is difficult.
Look at this, Kip. These two northerners where they're talking about cold. They're like, you gotta drip your pipes? Y'all know not of the cold.
Yeah, dude.
And then now with new construction too, and like PEX has, depending which PEX actually, because I don't know if PEX B is just as flexible as PEX A. Because
No.
PEX A has a PEX A has a memory, so.
Yeah,
but they each have their own thing. But PEX A is like preferably. I mean, it can actually be like this, like it's like a baseball size ball.
Yep.
And then as soon as you put a hair dryer or any kind of source of heat, it'll come right back to its original form.
Yep.
So it's good to have PEX. It's good if you have hard water because it will not corrode. It can't. It's plastic.
I never heard that perspective.
Well, I ran into this issue in my house because we have well water,
Mhm.
and it'll calcify even inside because the boiler has the coil insides for InstaHot.
Yep.
The coil will eventually start to scale up, and then you got to run CLR through it and clean it out every 6 months. I got a softener now, so I don't have to do that. But yeah, PEX will actually not allow calcification, so it'll start to do it at the ends where you add the copper to it.
Yeah.
You know, the shutoff valves are copper still. The connections are still there, but
What about
everything
your
else is
brass?
plastic.
What about your brass fittings, like your elbows and your T's? Would it be beneficial to go to plastic at that point?
Yeah, I mean, plastic is pretty much what they use. If you are specific about brass is more of a situation where if there's going to be movement, you might crack that elbow.
Mhm.
So it does have some play, but obviously you can't, bend the hell out of it. It's going to break. And also, too, don't drip your primer on those pipes. You will find out real fast what happens. It eats through them. I did that mistake. It eats right through them, because what it does is you're softening the plastic with the primer. That's what you're doing, literally, because you're gonna chemically weld them. So
Yeah.
if you drip that on a PEX pipe, it's actually starting to soften it. Joints, it'll eat right through them.
So you're saying
be
I can make
mindful of that.
90s? I just rub a little purple
Oh.
primer on it?
Correct.
Yeah, no, with that.
Nice.
But no, the idea of the table saw chop saw, that's how brought me to your account. Then I went, I did the one thing where you go all the way to the beginning of the videos to see where they start.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh, where's the mask now? Like,
Yeah, it's like this fucking fraud.
so I went down. I was like, and then I remind myself, like, hey, listen, you used to post some shit too, so relax.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
we?
no, the account is great. Yeah, no, the account is great. The content is awesome. I mean, it's this new wave of content that you guys going on. Like, it's almost cinematic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you're
that's what
telling
we're
a
going
story.
for.
It's pretty cool.
That's what we're going for, man. And let me give you some background on like my perspective on tile content. Okay. Let me cancel this bullshit.
Be careful what you say. No.
So,
Better be nice things.
right. So the first of any content that I ever saw related to tile, and it was cool, was back in the day on Instagram. And that was fucking Andrew. That was E-Tile, right? And that's been many years ago, several years ago. And I always thought, hey, I like to make videos. That would be kind of cool if I ever got confident enough to make something. And then whenever I started making content, for me, like those guys are kind of top tier content creators, right? But I was trying to find a different avenue. And so we're trying to make a little bit more of a cinematic approach. I try to steer, I like funny. I mean, we're all big fans of comedy.
Yeah.
But the worst part about making comedic content for me is that it feels cheesy, right? It feels forced. So if you're trying to make something funny, the shit ain't funny, right? Like, because I see other guys do it and I'm like,
Trying too hard.
yeah, like that's a try hard
Cringy.
moment, man. Like, it could have been a lot smoother. Man, we could have wrote that bit a little better. You should have hollered. Like maybe we could have coordinated. But I try and steer away from it a little bit, mainly because we'll do an entire fucking video. We'll full production, all that kind of stuff. We'll go to edit. We'll get it finished, and I'll be like,
Nope, not it.
Throw it out the
Nope.
window. Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
it is not funny. That is way too try hard, But at the same time, I'll send it to somebody else, and they'll be like, "Dude, that's hilarious." But so that's one of those things, man. We're just trying to find our lane, basically. That's why you'll see us testing a lot of shit. I firmly believe in testing, because I'll super nerd out on this social media. You know what I mean? I was against it for a lot of years because I've got this this hate for all these social media changes and how it affects culture and civilization. And I think it should all blow up and go away and all this kind of stuff. But in the meantime, we're all here together. This is why I'm talking to you guys, and you can generate revenue, and that is just real life. So I'm thinking that's probably just a realization that I had in general of, hey, if you can't beat them, join them, right? You could probably make some cool shit too.
Yeah, well, at least for me, I've kind of stepped away from personal social media just because there's nothing productive out of it.
Right.
And I wasn't very big on it. But now, for business use, I use it for business, and that's about it. Other than
That's all I use it for. I have a personal Facebook, but it literally has my business logo, and all I do is cross post my business.
Same.
Page.
Yeah.
Like,
Guilty.
It's because to me, like everything in my life, like I try and be extremely disciplined. I mean, I'm running a business, I'm leading a family, I've got a wife, children, house, employees. I try and stay as disciplined as possible. It's hard, obviously. So personal social media has zero benefit to you, right? To me,
it comes back to bite you.
That's it. Who cares, right? So my term is, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And that's from Ludacris. I'll go ahead and make sure everybody knows that. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And the social media game is, you can make money there. You can make some real money. I remember a long time ago, I was looking at it back in the MySpace days. I was in a touring band and we were using MySpace. And I remember thinking back then, something's going to pop, man. This social media thing, like this, whatever this is, this MySpace, this website, because it was all on laptop at that time. Yeah. I was thinking, dude, this is going to be huge.
You used to have to write your own code.
I ain't writing no fucking code, bro.
Well, what I mean, like we used to have to go to like a specific website
to customize.
Give you the code.
What is this French you speak? What's MySpace?
The themes, baby. You can just copy paste the theme code.
See, I started with the one that was before, because it was for the Hispanic community. There was a MySpace specific, Mi Gente. See, that was that's even before MySpace. And I was in a laundromat doing laundry, and I overheard these two adults at the time. They're like, "Yo, mi gente this, mi gente that." So I went home and I typed it in. I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then MySpace came in, and we were doing MySpace and customizing, having all the music BS.
Top friends.
Top 8, baby. Top 8, let's go.
Oh, yo, why'd you take me off your top 10, bro? What's wrong with you? Yeah, what did I do to you?
What the fuck?
You got to keep it.
I feel very left out. I'm not understanding any of these references.
He's 22 years old, by the way.
Here, Jeremiah.
What's a MySpace?
He's 22.
I'm 22.
Oh, fuck.
You have no idea about MySpace. Any of this.
It's like I saw a documentary on MySpace once.
Oh,
oh my God.
No wonder you got all the PC specs and all that shit, man. Right on.
In New York, I think I said this in the last podcast, they have a museum where they have a Walkman, a Game Boy, and like people going to see, they're paying to go see it. Somebody, yo, I'm not that old, man. Come on.
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
Because when the Walkman came out with the yellow one that it wouldn't skip the song in your pocket because it was shaking, the anti-vibration. I mean, that was like top tech back then.
Absolutely.
Pocket full of batteries because you were going to run out. You knew that.
Yep. I had the Discman with the gel pad on the center console of the 1990 Chevy with the tape deck cord going to the Discman. Hey man, get out of here, dude. Get out of here.
Oh man, so the Pioneer decks came out and then that was it.
Yeah, I had my mixtapes that I burnt.
Man.
LimeWire all day, son.
LimeWire, let's go.
Listen, you needed to wrap your computer in a condom to download anything out of LimeWire because you knew you were getting a virus.
It was bad. It was bad. You did that on the throwaway computer.
On the library computer.
The library computer. See, like with that too, it was when the radios came out, right? The ones that you used to be able to add them, and you would take the face off the radio so nobody would like steal that shit. You remember that?
Oh, for your cars.
You have to take the face off. Oh, somebody's gonna steal my radio. Go ahead.
Yeah, take the deck off.
Like the Bluetooth thing? No, I'm kidding. What do you guys talk about?
This fucking kid.
Your screen disconnects from your car? No.
Oh, dude. all the technology, but that's crazy how much it has advanced though, like in such a
What's
short
a
amount
floppy?
of time. Like you used to get the AOL floppy disk internet, 10-day, 30-day, whatever it was, the free trial. Get off the phone. Dinner time.
Oh.
Coquito?
Anytime?
No way.
The neighbor was bringing over their famous homemade Irish cream. So
Yeah.
Oh,
It's either
dope.
that
I
or
look like
spiked eggnog
Coquito
that
for
I
a
was looking
second.
at.
I thought I was looking at Coquito.
I don't know what that is, bro.
I got some
Oh.
in the fridge. It's a Spanish
Puerto Rican eggnog.
coconut based eggnog. Yeah,
Got you.
yeah. I'm glad you said
Good
Puerto
too.
Rican because it is originating from
Chat
Puerto
era.
Rican, not just Spanish. It's a Puerto Rican thing.
Puerto Rican eggnog. That's what it is.
His hair's like,
It has
know
no
your
eggnog,
place,
eh?
Omar.
But I do
Yeah.
want to take a little turn though, because when we first jumped on, you said it's a little late for coffee. I know technically it is. And
No such thing.
I try to watch my health these days, but what's your take on, we understand the whole PPE and taking care of your health and your employees and things like that, but how do you take care of yourself?
As far from what aspect?
Diet. I mean, I see you drink a little bit. I don't like
Well,
fitness.
I have an evening beer, evening cocktail. I prefer intermittent fasting so that I can eat whatever the fuck I want. Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it
I'm
works.
guilty. I'm guilty of fucking treating my body like shit. It just is what it is. I smoke cigarettes. I've got vices. I've got all that kind of stuff. Exercise is generally just a normal thing. You're a man, so move around, lift things. Get after it.
Pick
Yeah.
them up and put them down. That's it.
I've got a full gym in here in my garage.
Nice.
You just stay active, man. Drink plenty of water. Quit eating sugar, right? Like quit drinking soda. Quit eating fucking tasty cakes. Quit eating all that bullshit. Just eat good, clean food. I have one badass wife who is the best cook I've ever had. So spoiled, I can't even stand to go out to eat at restaurants because I get home cooked meals every day. Eat clean, natural food, drink plenty of water, move your body. Dude, that's all you need to do. It's not complicated.
There you go.
Oh, see, I gotta switch it up, but I'm young. I got that Ron Swanson diet. I'm like whiskey, cigar, steak, rare.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
And Red Bulls in the morning for breakfast.
And for me, I spent a lot of years listening to extremely loud music, shooting a lot of guns, doing stupid shit, playing live music. I was in a band, going to concerts, ball games, all that kind of stuff. Man, no PPE. Machine shop, no PPE.
Yeah.
What? No.
Factory life. Man, I'm not following them rules. But then you get a little bit older and you realize that, hey, man, maybe fighting the system isn't really worth, not really taking care of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Was it a machine shop or a weld shop or like combination of both on it?
Combination of both. Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah, they're gonna give you shit. You walk out your earmuffs. They're like, oh yeah, you left your dick back there.
Yeah, well, that was my
pick it up?
grandfather. That was my grandfather's machine shop, and he fucking.
I don't mean nothing. My grandfather said the same thing to me.
Hey, he's an old school sailor that got out of the Navy as a machinist and opened up a shop in Charleston. That's where I spent my time.
I got a Marine Corps grandfather.
Yeah, dude, he didn't fuck around. He didn't care. PPE was not his concern.
Put on your safety squints and shut up.
People from that era outlived the people from this era.
Yeah, they had better
The
food.
lawn dart era, all right?
That's diet, man. Honestly,
That's called natural selection. They weeded themselves out. Only the best lived.
Think about what today's folks eat on a daily basis, what you consume, right? You're only consuming, just like we were talking about breathing in engineered stone. Well, imagine eating only man-made food.
Yeah.
Like literally processed. Everything's processed. You know what I mean? It's not good.
Another huge thing from their era was they ate a lot of fermented food.
Yep.
Pickled everything.
Yep.
And now they're like, I was watching Huberman, and he's like, so when you do the intermittent fasting, which I do too, you actually eat the lining of your stomach to some degree. But
Yep.
when you eat fermented, fiber-rich foods, you actually heal it better than if you were eating continuously throughout the day. And they don't know why it happens. They're like, it just we have no scientific way of telling you as to why this occurs.
Yep.
But he's like that. That was one of like it's like yin and yang. You know, you could intermittent fasting allows you to go a long period of time without food, but then you can eat whatever you want, basically healthy food at least. You're not gonna like fast.
That's
and then
not what
go
you
to
said.
Five Guys. You know, you go to Five Guys and load up on burgers and fries. So
Peanuts.
you know, you got to be picky. But intermittent fasting, that's what I found. And they said pickle because they used to pickle everything. I mean, pickles. You know, any fruit that they can put in pickle, they were doing it, and that was what was keeping them healthy.
Right.
You know, I think that's why I try to like sauerkraut and pickles. I try to give them to my kids. I'm like, enjoy this taste because it's good for you.
Oh yeah. Good luck.
Have you tried having them do like for me, every night I take a little shot of apple cider vinegar, and that stuff's really good for your health. It helps with your immune system. They kind of got to throw. I'm used to it. I've had it enough that it's like it tastes bad, but my body's like, okay, it's time. But when I was younger, it was like,
yeah, I try and steer clear of a lot of those sorts of conversations because when it comes down to it, we're all really ignorant, right? We don't really know for sure. There's a great comedy bit, and my guys will think this hilarious that I'm saying this, but do you guys know Chris D'Elia?
Yeah.
No.
Right. So there's a great bit where he's in a podcast and they're talking about something, and he says, when I turn around, you better be wearing a fucking lab coat if you're going to keep talking about this shit, right? Because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Like, listen, eat clean, eat healthy.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat kale, bro. You don't have to eat all the bullshit that people tell you, tofu, all that kind of shit. It's not that. Eat natural.
Yeah.
Well, see, you mentioned Andrew Huberman, and I like to listen to him as well as there's somebody that I recently started listening to, Gary Brecka, and their main thing is single ingredient foods. So if you look on the back of that shit and it's got too many fucking ingredients, half of them you have absolutely no idea what the fuck they are.
Can't pronounce them.
Back on the shelf, man.
Yeah.
I recently just made man, I want to say it's probably been not even two months, but I recently just like made the change to stop eating fucking Little Debbie cakes and my kids' snacks and all that shit. Now I don't even fucking buy them. They're not even in the house anymore. The kids are looking for snacks, and I'm like, that shit ain't here no more, bro.
Eat some strawberries.
Yes,
I mean
that's what we got. Fruits were our sweet snacks.
Yep. There's a list on the fridge of everything that they can have that they don't have to ask. It's all fruits, veggies, and just healthy snacks, man. That's all. That's go ahead. As much as you want, you can have it. You don't have to ask. But no more of that fucking bullshit processed foods, man. Like everything is either. I mean, it doesn't have to be organic, but organic is better because like it doesn't have pesticides and all that.
It depends. Have you seen what it takes to call something organic, bro?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I see why you say you don't like to have this conversation, but because like there's just so much. There's so much information and misinformation out there. But I mean, just keep it simple, man. You know, just fucking eat clean and shit like that, man. But
take a single cut meat. Take single cut meat, whether it be chicken, beef, pork, whatever. Take a full vegetable that came off the vine. Make something.
Yeah.
See,
there you go.
I was told with food that like kind of similar to you, Harry, where if you can't read or pronounce or there's too many ingredients, it's like once you flip it over and there's numbers involved, you can't eat numbers. So I don't know how the hell so that try to steer clear away from that as well. Well, to an extent, it's kind of hard to avoid it, but
and to keep it simple, really, man, a lot of people, if you can literally cut sugar out of your diet, that's it.
Absolutely. Sugar's huge. Yeah,
if you have an issue with a little extra weight, if you just look at it and you cut sugar out completely through your diet and through the things you drink, dude, you'll kill 15 pounds just like that.
About that.
Well, those changes, I saw a reel that the guy was saying because when you have kids, they're constantly like, I need a snack, and then the guy was like, I'm so sick and tired of this. So he went, took everything out of the fridge, dumped everything. He replaced it with cheese, small cuts of meats, dry meats, bunch of vegetables, carrots, all that stuff. He said, eat whatever you want. Don't ask me.
That's
Just
right.
Go. Pig out as much as you want. He's like, now I don't have to worry. Go. It's in there. There's no ice cream. There's nothing. You want sweets? Strawberries and mangoes. You want a little bit of protein? Here's the meats and cheese. Eat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm trying to adapt myself to, where because I have 3 daughters and they're constantly, because girls like to snack. They don't like to eat. They just a little snack and then come back later. So now I'm like, the fridge is there. There's cheese sticks everywhere. There's pieces of meat. Eat whatever you want. Don't ask me. Just go.
Yeah.
And good luck, man, because I've got 2 daughters as well, 16 and 12. You can't tell them shit. You can try and influence them, which is the idea. But the key is you got to influence them without telling them what to do, because as soon as dad tells a daughter what to do,
it's over. Yep.
Don't eat my fucking cheese sticks.
Yeah, dude.
That will work.
Got
Reverse
him.
psychology works great. It's like, listen, guys, do not eat these snacks. They're meant for me. And then walk away and watch.
Yeah.
Hey, just for the record, the Instagram live and only have an hour limit on
It's
that.
a known glitch. So we can't avoid it. So, but
Okay.
that's what they get for not being on YouTube.
Oh, that's another thing too. Do you plan on do you have a YouTube account?
We do. So we're actually in the process. I don't know if you know or not, man, but we're in the process of filming our first full-length YouTube video. And the idea is because we are gearing all of our content towards that entry-level tile guy and DIYer, right?
Mm.
Because there's only so many tile guys, right? And you guys all know what the fuck you're doing. You don't need me to influence you. So the people who don't know what they're doing and just want to give it a go, that's who we're after. So this first YouTube video that we're doing is there is this
Hot mop. Okay.
there's this,
Episode 1, hot mop.
there's this huge misconception when you're outside of a field looking in. So if you're outside of a house looking in, you think it takes so much to do what you're looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know, you guys know, it's not true. We all started somewhere with the most basic of tools and we've built shit. And so this YouTube video is showing us build a full custom shower for a client with cheap Lowe's tools. So we went and bought the 200.
What do you guys didn't like the Cobalt saw, man? He said no with
I fucking hate it, dude. I fucking hate it.
I've got a guy, my tile guy. You talking about the wet saw?
Yeah, the tabletop wet saw.
Yeah. Oh no, he's got the normal sled one. It's come with a light and a laser, and he fucking loves it. It's actually in my backyard. I took it home with me to transport it because I had space. And I mean, but at the end of the day, he produces great cut and great work. So I can't tell him not to use that saw.
Yeah, I don't brand bash, bro. If it works, do it, right? But like, we bought the cheap Cobalt tabletop saw, the trowels, the mixer, the wedges, all that shit. We went in and bought it all. We're showing how much it cost. I think I spent $700 on all these tools, right? And then I'm going to show you how to build the custom shower, how to waterproof it with these tools, how to set the tile, build it all. And at the end of the video, I'm going to instruct you on how to enter the giveaway. And we're giving away I'm going to give away that entire lot of tools to one lucky DIYer or some young chuck just getting into the game that doesn't have any tools, but they want to give it a go. You'll enter to win, man. And if you win, I'm going to send you $700 worth of tools and that I bought and used. So like you're seeing it, the shit's going to be dirty. I ain't cleaning it. I'm sending it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't let the pin set it all. I mean, hopefully
You're
it's not
getting
at
free
Steve level.
$700. You can't bitch about cleanliness.
That's right, man.
See,
and so that's the idea. We're just getting into YouTube. It's gonna be rough. Like we're just learning this longer form stuff. I mean, because
It's
obviously
tough.
longer form, you're telling a story, and then you've got so many other filler options for longer content.
And you gotta keep people engaged.
Yeah,
That's the hard part.
With the short content, I mean, we're kind of heavily TikTok driven because we're 60 seconds or nothing. Like we
shoot for like 15 to 20.
Well, the reason I do that is because we're making money on TikTok, right? So,
Oh man,
Oh no shit.
I'm slacking.
yeah, we're making money over there. We're not making money on Instagram. So I'm using Instagram to build community because obviously that's what it's for, right? Versus TikTok, which is goldfish brain. I can repost the same video and nobody old sees it again, right? Like,
Yeah, true.
I'm reposting videos and generating revenue off of those reposts. And the people that saw them before don't see them, because if you look at the data, 98.6% of your views are from the For You page. It's not your followers. It does not matter how many followers you have on TikTok. Okay.
Mm.
It's just
On
volume.
Instagram, it does. The algorithms are different. On Instagram, your follower count directly determines your output and your reach. Where on TikTok, it's all about fuck all this nerd shit, dude. I'll spend another hour talking about this, but
Get into it. I
Yeah, I would say we have no problem with it.
okay.
if you know shit, man, school us.
Okay.
Tell us your secrets.
Well, here you go. This is what I've been obsessing over the past 7 months. I got people on there telling me quit using bots to like and comment. Bitch, I'm on the shit. Like I'm not using bots. I'm learning how this shit works because I'm a weirdo about it. But anyway, 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean,
5 seconds on TikTok. Your first 5 seconds is all that matters.
Mm.
You need 62% retention on your video at the 5 second mark for TikTok to push your video into the algorithm. Have you ever posted a video and it hits 650 views, never goes any higher?
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's where you want to get your hook in. Is that first?
Correct. Your hook is the first 5 seconds. And it's TikTok is, I mean, God, the people, I don't know what it is, man. This is the shit that drives me crazy.
it's different.
Right? It's different. You have to catch them in the first 1 second to get them to the 3rd second to keep them until the 5 second.
Yep.
Right.
Mm.
So it's got to be extremely tactile how you build and structure your videos. And I've done that. I've made videos specifically to try and not get the retention, and it falls flat. I'll make them specifically for the retention, but I'll put filler bullshit at the end of the video just to see if I can keep the retention up to the 5 second mark. Works great, but it ends up falling flat because you don't have the content to back it up afterwards. So I was just doing that to prove the concept of this retention at certain timestamp, right?
Word.
But it's true. Any of my videos that have hit over 400, 500,000 views, they all have 65% retention at the 5 second mark. And there's common denominators in each one of those videos that surpass 500,000 views every single time. Right. So that's anyway, circling back to what I was talking about. TikTok's where we're generating revenue, and we're using that revenue to reinvest in our content creation. We just bought a bunch of new cameras and lighting and mics and all that kind of shit. So
let me ask about that actually. So I know you mentioned a DSLR. Are you running DSLRs on a job site?
At times we're still learning them. So it's kind of hard to go out because this is the balance of running the business versus the content creation, right? So I'm
Slows things down.
Yeah, myself, I'm filming, I'm conceptualizing shots. I've got Devin who is filming, conceptualizing shots. We're team building. Chad's doing work. Chad's working through videos. I've still got 5 days to build a shower, right? So I'm still trying to film and create content and all that kind of shit. So it's hard when you're learning the DSLR. So we're kind of learning DSLR outside of content creation right now. I went and filmed a few real estate videos the other day for a friend of mine who's a builder for some spec homes of his. They turned out really cool. I mean, all the editing is similar, the same. You're shooting in a little different format. You're shooting with more equipment. Like I went and bought the DJI Ronin SC gimbal.
Oh, the gimbal, yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Got those.
But learning that shit's incredibly challenging, for me, because I'm out on a real estate shoot for a friend of mine, and the gimbal, every time I try and use it, it just goes and folds up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm holding the camera, shooting, and all that kind of fun shit. So
yeah,
we are learning through DSLR. We did so with this YouTube video. A couple of the last videos that I've posted have been DSLR cropped into a format. So there's just a lot more consideration with that.
Because I was looking into, I didn't want a DSLR because I do a lot of dust, right? DSLR cameras and dust don't mix well. Yep. I've done film, I've done photography. I know a fair amount. I'm not saying I know a lot, but I know that dust and cameras don't mix. So I was aiming more towards a GoPro, and I had actually bought one. I think it was like the Hero 9, something like that. and that was the worst fucking footage I think I ever got. It was so blurry, and I was looking at settings, and I looked at YouTube videos of the video comparisons. I'm like, this is not at all what I'm getting, and it was just ended up being cheaper for me to just go buy another phone, right?
Yep.
I've got S20 Plus. It shoots 8K. It shoots RAW. It does everything I need. So I might as well just have a second phone.
Absolutely,
I
agree with you
on your camera selection.
Yeah, we've got 2 Canon 90Ds that we're geared up with. That's going to be, I mean, that's essentially where we were reinvesting because YouTube is the vision, right? And so we're going to be headed that way, and that's the idea. So yeah.
So, question: what happens after that 5-second retention mark?
As far as what?
Them stains.
Which way does it like? Which way is it? How do I say this?
Well, the question is, do they stay after the 5 second, or is that just the mile marker to get it?
I would tell you, on average, I get 50% of my viewers are gone by the 20-second.
Yeah, that checks out for me. I've noticed it's 16 seconds.
Yep, I get about 12 to 15% that will watch the entire video, right? But if you don't get so for me, I don't focus on the end of the video retention. I'm literally only focusing on the other because I'm getting paid for views, right? I'm getting paid for views. TikTok considers a qualified view 5 seconds. So when you get into that creator program beta, they're paying you per milli, which is per 1,000 views, and a view is 5 seconds. Just so happens it completely corresponds to their algorithm. They need a certain retention at that 5 second mark. Funny how that works. So focus on the first 5 seconds. That's going to boost you in the algorithm. That's going to get you more qualified views. Who fucking cares who watches the end? A lot of times I put silly shit at the end just to see if people will comment. And I know the people that comment that stuff, I know they watch the whole video.
Yeah. That's big on YouTube too. They'll like in the middle of the video, like 45 minutes in, they're like, comment this, and this if you watch the video. And it's like an inside thing, or like comment, comment this and I'll enter you in a giveaway. Right. That's actually really smart. Because then once people miss out on like a $700 giveaway, they're like, oh shit, maybe I should watch this thing through.
That's right. Or you get the people that comment, they'll go comment 15 seconds into a video
and then leave.
The answer to their question is at the 30-second mark. And then they talk to you like you're a fucking moron. And you're like, dude, if you'd have watched 15 more seconds, you'd have answered your own question. You look like a dumbass, You look like an idiot. But it's TikTok. You're never going to admit it. You're just going to keep talking shit.
Thanks for the view. Oh, yeah. Thanks for the algorithm.
No,
exactly.
Because I had one video on TikTok go, I think it was like 450K.
Yeah.
Just one. That gave me like 5,000 followers or something like that. I didn't even, most of the time the videos, it's funny, like the ones that I'm actually trying, like the ones that I'm putting in the work. I mean, Jeremiah, the one that I'm talking about, the bathroom transformation. That
really nice.
It literally got like, it was a really nice one. And this is before Instagram came out with the templates.
Yep.
So if you had a bit, you had to go there and do it second by second to the beat of the music.
Yep.
So I did this perfect, put it out there. It was like not even 300 views. I'm like, seriously, it took me 3 days. And then I'll take like a simple video of me cutting a tile on a cutter. And that's it. And then this thing is boom, 10,000, 30, 40, me putting a foam bench in the corner. That thing is up to 2.5 million. And I'm like, it's just a foam bench. I've done these millions of times. So sometimes I find like sometimes the silly videos, like the most random, just something that I guess the randomness while you're swiping is what stops you in your tracks versus like the typical, like, oh, I've seen this before. I've seen this before.
I have a theory that I know this for sure. TikTok does not reward originality. So remember that, right? So when you're creating videos for TikTok doesn't give a shit that you're an artist. TikTok doesn't give a shit that you're cool and you can make fancy stuff. They want you to make the thing that just went viral, right? That way they can make that go viral. And that way they can get more people sucked into whatever it is, right? So they don't reward originality like YouTube or Instagram or anything like that. So you're on TikTok. We had something similar. It broke Devin's heart. I hope he's listening. So he had this idea to put together this video. The the Michael Myers Halloween video, right? We were going to make it super cinematic. I even fucking went and color graded it so it would be more cinematic, and did all kinds of editing. Conceptualization, this shit was a week's worth of work.
100 views.
Oh, dude, 50,000. I was like, fuck. Like I knew this was going to be great. So the next day, I filmed myself jumping into my dump trailer, right? Holding my mixing paddle, and I go, "Hey, this is how you clean the mixing paddle." Tink, tink, tink. 600,000 views.
Yeah.
So let me ask this, take a little bit of a turn. I guess I kind of feel like Harry would be the best person to ask in this situation, because Harry has his content, at least from my point of view, I would think went pretty drastic change as far as like quality, structure, and everything. It got like super professional. Are you noticing like a very significant increase? Because you got some good shit coming out. Slacking on that 10-part series, but
the reason why I wanted to dive into this a little bit more with Kip is because, so I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but they, when it comes to, I guess we'll just say social media platforms, they say if you're not providing entertainment, education, or what, I forget what the third is.
That was the only two.
Then there's, your video is not going to go nowhere.
Yep.
So I have been realizing that my views and shit was just like nothing was clicking. And I get these random videos that do, I guess I can say they do well, but they don't do, they don't blow up. But recently I have been trying to kind of like structure the videos differently to provide more quality content, I guess you can say. But recently, just like Omar just said, I made this video where I did a little voiceover behind it, and it was basically just me putting together some fucking PVC piping and shit for a toilet flange.
Yep.
I had that shit sitting in my vault for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one out.
Yep.
Put it out, nothing. I fucking make those 3 or 4 videos about the debunking myths about the fucking bathroom and shit like that, bathroom remodeling and things like that. They're not really doing that great. The first 3, just a couple of 100 views.
Yep. What about the one of you sitting in the bathtub contemplating?
That one. Are you talking about the video
I was like, so you want to build a bathroom?
Yeah. So, even that video, like.
Oh, that one didn't go anywhere. That was a good one.
I made that one in two different like one where I made the black screen with the 3 keys to success or something like that, and then I had the original one where I was just sitting there just talking in the tub. I think the original one went, did better than the second one that I tried to remake. So recently I made the video of me just wiping the Buddy Tools mixer, just wiping it clean, and it shows the Buddy. Fucking takes off. 8,000 views like within that first 2 days or something like that. The one with me doing the flange, nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm trying to provide fucking goddamn quality content and nothing's fucking happening. So it's like, but apparently TikTok is completely different, because I mean, I haven't like done any. So
what I've noticed
like that, but go ahead.
What I've noticed, Harry, and you might want to kind of check this out too, is you got the Instagram and the TikTok, right? They're not interested in the shit that you put your heart into. But for me, I use Nextdoor for a lot of my leads. I post all the voiceovers and educational stuff on there, roughly around a minute, and it does great there, because then the homeowner's like, oh, this kid knows what the hell he's talking about, right? So, I post the content everywhere and I repost it. So, at least to stay consistent on posting, or at least I was. But it does better in some other places, and for a different market, right? So you have your social media, and then you have your client market. Yeah. So you might have better luck in your client market than you do on your social media. So that's also worth exploring and worth noting, especially when you can embed it on your website. Like I embed my Instagram stuff on my website.
I got to get my website. My website is a little cheapo, a little free one from Google. I want to get like a more fucking one that I can, post content and things and like tutorials and shit like that. But 2024, hopefully that will be the year for that. I don't know.
But why?
Why? Because I want to start. I want to. I want to monetize everything that I'm doing. You know, the reason why I started, just like you said, man, I used to, in my personal profile and people that know me from back home, I used to always just get on the fucking on Instagram and fucking ramble and make people laugh and shit like that.
Yeah.
People, you know, oh, why don't you make a YouTube? Now that I'm doing like actual good work and things like that, like they're like, you should make a YouTube. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to get there, but it's like, if I can't figure Instagram out, or if I can't figure Facebook Reels out, or if I can't figure TikTok out, like, I'm not going to try to dive into YouTube because it's
I don't
just
know. That's a different monster, though. I feel it's a completely different algorithm.
Well, I
You gotta
guess
learn.
what I'm asking you, Harry, is you mentioned getting a website up and running. I honestly, unless you're trying to generate leads or trying to call some direct call to action or funnel somebody into some kind of program, website's not really that important. I mean, where do you get your work from? You get it word of mouth or what?
word of mouth. Yeah.
Okay. You got a book schedule? You good?
Well, I'm booked until February for now.
That's pretty good.
Well, see, at least in my case, like for example, I use Nextdoor for a lot of my leads. I'd say about 95% of my leads come from Nextdoor. Even if it's word of mouth and someone recommends me, they go to Nextdoor, right? And then someone will comment my website, and I can see on my website when someone clicks a direct link. So when I get a direct link click, I know it's from Nextdoor. And then on every page, they can submit a contact form. And as soon as it does that, it goes straight to my phone and I follow up. So I use it for lead generation, right? When you're showing up word of mouth and you got a nice website that pops up, then they fill out that contact form, shoot straight over to you. So for lead generation, it's become very helpful for me.
That's
and
cool.
About half of my leads come from my website, which they all come, they're funneling through Nextdoor and some from Google, but they all go through my website and fill out the contact form.
That's
it also depends, it also depends too that it's like the pricing thing. It's a regional thing. Like Nextdoor for me is a like bootleg version of Twitter. People are just going there to post random stuff. Oh, this bird was flying, or we saw
for
a cat.
me. I was
I haven't been able to generate any leads whatsoever out of there. Facebook, on the other hand, is where most of my leads come from. And I don't have ads. I just have a professional Facebook page. And like you said, it's basically digital word of mouth. Hey, this guy's here. He's done this work. And, I post most of my stuff on Facebook, which also has my website, which now is all of a sudden appearing on Google. Because in my area, it's mostly Google, Facebook, a little bit of Instagram. I've been getting people reach out through Instagram where they're like, oh, I've been watching your work for over a year and we want to give you a shot. But it depends on, you got to try different things, see what works for your region. Like for him is Nextdoor, for me is Facebook and word of mouth. I have my I have my professional page to showcase the work and have a little bit of, like a professional look. It's not like necessarily where everything goes. And but also with the Instagram thing too, like I noticed.
Don't ask questions.
So the Instagram too is like, it's also a time thing. Like I wasn't seeing anything in the 200 posts, 300 posts. I wasn't seeing any kind of movement whatsoever. When I started getting to the 400, 500, and 600 posts, then I started to see movement. So it's almost like the amount of time you're going to put in. Yeah, and maybe your first 300 videos are not going to do well. Even like Mr. B said it. He's like, if you haven't posted 1,000 videos, I can't even have enough data to say, okay, what are you doing? Yeah, you're not even there. So keep posting, keep studying, find the style. Like most of my stuff is motivational quotes, and I do that just for me. It's not even for IG. I do it for myself because I like it.
Motivate yourself,
and
man.
People, so motivate myself essentially, and they're like, I like that stuff. It's like, I look forward to your videos because they're motivational. You watch a little bit of tile work and it's got a little, pump you up behind it. So I've tried, I think I did one or two, actually one of the Buddy Tools videos of the Mix It paddles. It's actually one of the reviews that I did. They got no traction whatsoever. Like literally it's like, you can't even see that video, but yet now it's in commercials and it's like on websites and stuff. So you just got to keep trying, and you won't know, but keep posting. The consistency is key, though. That I have found. You got to be consistent.
Well, you better. Another thing is you better be having fun. You better be having fun.
Oh, that too. Yeah,
I have a little too much fun with it.
It's easy to burn out on anything, man. Because like I told you, I do everything 1,000%, and I've burned out on more things than most people have started. Right, so you got to find a way to enjoy it. You got to find a way to bring other people in on it. You know, if not, you're going to burn out.
Well, that comes. I think that comes down to like just being you, like having your personality go through. Like me, obviously, you can tell I'm the comedic relief person. Like I try to take everything, I make it a little funny. So, but I know there's a time and place for that when it comes to social media and ads and all that.
Yep.
But you know, if you're trying to be someone else and copy someone's editing style, and just copy them completely, you're gonna spend so much time trying to replicate it than actually enjoying it.
Yeah, and then everybody else knows what you're doing. You know, it's not like you're fucking getting away with it.
I wish I had more of that, like the editing background and shit. Because I see some like, well, for example, UKIP and like Heavy. There's like a lot of editing, and I mean, CapCut that's my editing fucking software right there, man. If I everything I do is do CapCut. So
me too.
Yeah, same.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah, it's really. I used to use Adobe Premiere, like actual Adobe editing software, and CapCut is a very strong tool. And unless you're doing like very professional film production where you might need to throw it into After Effects, CapCut will do just about everything you need.
It'll do everything.
So, you know, with CapCut too, it's a giant learning curve. Like you'll realize, like as you start clicking into these random things that you never clicked in before, you're like, holy shit, it does this. It does that. So you start to see all these things.
Yeah.
And Instagram has accounts of people that will literally show you all their effects. Like you follow these accounts, it's like, oh, you could do this effect where every step you take, it changes you into a different outfit. Or you can throw a trowel where it lands, you're going to be in it. For me, it shows you how the process.
For me, the greatest thing about CapCut is I can take it, I can edit on my phone. It'll be on my iPad whenever I open my iPad up. I can move it over to my MacBook. I can do whatever. It's all there. Like I can, I do some simple, like if I do talking head bullshit videos, I'll do it on my phone because I can.
And then send it to the computer.
Well, not even that necessarily. I can typically cut out the dead space, add the auto captions, make the quick edit, get it uploaded from the phone, or I can just as easily airdrop all the footage if it's more complex over to my iPad, do all the work on the iPad, and then airdrop it back to my phone and upload, you know?
And I'm not trying to like keep cutting you off, Harry. But a CapCut will allow you to like import your projects into the cloud. So what I do is I edit my content, and when I want to do a voiceover, because I got the good mic, I just send it to the cloud. I pull it up on my computer, and I do the voiceovers right here.
See, maybe that's where that may be a little bit of a downfall for me because I literally do everything right off my fucking phone. I don't.
I got my old computer laying around, Harry. You want to buy it?
Equipped for fucking for doing anything like that.
Well, you don't need much though. Like
this shit's just over the top, Harry. There's a lot of dudes on the gram. They only edit on their telephone. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just feel like I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said like a downfall, like because I feel like my content. I'm happy with the content I'm putting out. You know, and like Omar said before, you know, we do this shit for us and we do it for fun.
$20.
So, what's that? Oh, the microphone? Yeah.
$20 mic.
They don't do well in the washing machine, though, I promise.
Clip it to your hat while you're doing it, and then there's your mic. $20 on the internet. It's crisp and clear. It hooks up to your phone. Because that's how I was doing my voice edits prior to the podcast. Like it's $20.
Well, I'm just too simple. Like even the phone catches good audio. I mean,
the question you should be asking yourself is like, if you start going down that road of trying to produce quality or similar footage as like Kip or Heavy, and you know, is that going to turn you off to it? Because it is work. It's work that you have to put into it.
It's
like,
enough work now.
I've gotten to that point where I'm editing so much, and then I'm like, you know what, this is literally like turning me off. And I'll do a simple edit. You know, you get to see what I do. It could be something as small as like, let me show you how to back trowel a tile, something simple, and then put it out there. And it's still educational. It's still like enjoyable. I don't find joy in getting into production level editing just because I know it takes a team, and I have enough on my plate as it is. So it's like you got to see what works for you, you know?
Well, focus on the content though. I mean, you can have shitty content, like high quality, high resolution, good sounding, shitty content. So, I mean, obviously I used to game. I do a lot of editing. I run the podcast. I do the renderings. I have, I have the gaming head, the microphone, the good Audio Technica headset. I have this stuff already. So it's just, I was like, all right, let me just utilize what I have. But I mean, if I didn't have this, I wouldn't be like, okay, this is the only way, I need a $2,000 computer to make, my videos. Like you don't. Like Heavy does all his shit pretty much on his phone, and he'll put me to shame any day. And I've got a fucking computer that probably costs more than his. That's capable of more than his. So it's not really about
Well, it's like what Kip said with the tools. You don't need Milwaukee, DeWalt, all these things, because realistically, like
what'd you say?
We all
What?
we all started somewhere. Like I still have my QEP tile cutter in the shed. Like I pull that thing out every once in a while just because it works. It does.
For nostalgia.
Now, the thing about touching with that subject that I was going to start and I am going to start explaining is like, is the work complex? Like you said, like you need all this knowledge and stuff. No, it's not. It's not really like that complex, but it does take time. And as a DIYer, sometimes they look at us and they're like, oh, you did it in 5 days. Yeah, that's because we've been doing it for so long repetitively that we know it like the back of our hand. But if you're a DIY guy, you kind of have to expect that this might take months. Like I have a customer right now that started his own bathroom and got to a point where he's like, okay, this is way beyond my head. Like, I mean, he bought every tool under the sun to do this bathroom. And he called me and he's like, can you finish this? Because I'm at a point where it's taking me more time to finish this than it is to just pay you. So sometimes it's just they pay us for the outcome. They don't pay us for our labor, essentially.
Well, this circles back to almost the beginning of the podcast with what Kip said is, what we do, the construction process in a perfect world is not that hard. What really is hard is when you run into those weird one-off, like fucked up scenarios. Like, oh, that 2x4 is twisted all to shit, or that wall's out of plumb, or why is that 2x4 sticking out, a half inch past the rest of them? The floor is out of level. All the little shit that we run into. The first time you do it, it takes a little bit of time. And then after you do it enough, it's just like, oh, okay, I gotta fur out the whole wall. I gotta wet shim this. I gotta self level the floor. No biggie. That's an extra day. But
I mean, you think about it. I mean, if you ever spent much time around some old heads in the carpentry game, they're going to tell you don't judge a carpenter on the results that he produced from a perfect scenario. You judge a carpenter based on the results that he got out of a shitty situation.
His ability to unfuck something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I make constant fun of that. I don't know if you saw that reel with, because every time we went to a bathroom, somebody put an impeller in that wall. Somehow that 2x4 that's supposed to be on a plane is on that wall, and it's usually with those the plastic tubs, the one-piece plastic tubs that they drop in. Perfect place to hide all the crappiest 2x4s they could possibly find in Home Depot. So
you can nail the edge and face nail the
they're
fucking wall.
right now you got to put tile on that. It's like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna have to reframe this, or sometimes I even end up sistering half a damn bathroom just because it's so bad. Yep. But yeah, those are the things that we as installers we run into. We've done it enough times, but for DIYers, they run into those issues like, oh, my floor is half inch out of level. What do I do? Like, and it's like,
or we know enough
learn how to self level.
Or we know enough to go, okay, let me check this before I build on top of this and have to take out all the shit I just put in.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like a customer can like put the backboard all the way up, right? And they put the level on it and they're like, well, shit, there's like a belly, there's a twist, it's out, and it's all versus us. We're like, all right, as soon as the studs are off, tap, tap, tap. Okay, gotta fix that, gotta fix that, gotta fix that.
Well, and hey, so just to break in there, so you were talking about the content that I'm making, and I told you it's geared towards DIYers. One of the things I like to tell people, man, is a lot of folks say, well, a lot of the comments that I get are, wow, congratulations, man. You showed somebody how to back butter a tile. Dang.
Oh, yeah.
It's called back troweling now. No.
Yeah. yeah. But like what I try and explain to people in the character limit that you get on here is, hey, man, if you weren't a professional, I'm guessing you're a professional, only guessing, right? But if you're a DIYer, sometimes you've got enough knowledge and enough confidence to jump into a project. But what happens is you get right in the middle of it. One thing goes one thing happens that's outside of the instructions.
Now
Right.
you're lost.
The dude on YouTube told you how to do it, but then one thing alters, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
What the fuck?
Now you're
I'm already
stalled.
3 steps ahead.
Yeah, now you're stalled out, and so that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to bring in. That's why most of the shit that you see me post is, "Oh, hey, this is fucked up." Right? This tub's out of level. These walls are out of plumb. What do you do? And then everybody's on there. They're saying, well, fucking plumb the walls. Well, hey, jackass, I'm getting paid to tile the son of a bitch. The sheetrock's already hung. What am I supposed to do? Tell the GC, hey, man, it's going to be an extra $2,000. I'm going to have to tear that sheetrock off, shim it, plane it. He's going to laugh, right? That's not how the world works.
Right.
Most homeowners, they're going to get in. If they're going to get into a tiling situation, it ain't going to be perfect. I guarantee you. Right.
Nope.
So I'm trying to teach them how to deal with fucked up shit.
Which unless you're doing new construction and you are the new construction, every project I've ran into, like they're like, oh, so how are we going to square this room? I'm like, square this room? We're going to try to make these tiles look good. Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. Square's out of the question. You start measuring everywhere around there, you are never going to be square.
Well, hey, man, that video that I just posted yesterday and today, follow up about the out of plumb walls, that's new construction.
Oh, I just did a pan repair on a 7-year-old house, tore it down to the joist.
Unless you were the one that did the new construction and you had a handle on it. Oh man, because I mean, you go to that's like when the engineer hands you the plans and it's like, how am I supposed to put a pipe in the middle of this support beam that's holding the entire house?
You have a 4-inch pipe and a 2x4 wall.
Well,
just want you to know that
this build in particular is a brand new builder. I think this is probably his first one. Got a cut rate Hispanic framing crew that probably framed it for $3 a foot, and so they're not culling shit. They're just going in there. They're throwing shit together. We're ready for sheet and go, baby. That's just the way it is. And people on the internet want things to be perfect, but that's just in their own brain.
Well,
real quick.
What's up, Harry?
Comments. Go ahead.
What's up, Harry?
Well, I was gonna say, man, we're at an hour 36 minutes. I don't know how long Kip's got to hang around.
Well, I could use some supper and a shower. So,
well, definitely, yeah. No,
too bad.
We'll hold you here.
So
we'll hold you here for all night long.
Yeah, we really will.
So,
we forgot to give you a safe word. We're sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking to y'all, man. That's pretty cool to see, talk to faces and voices from the people that you see on the net, man. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. We're going to have to get you back on.
But we'll have you back on.
Yeah. Real quick before we go, though, you got to tell everybody where we can find you on social media, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you show up.
Any social media that exists other than Snapchat, I'm on there. It's the same handle, RockSteadyTileCo. Get after it.
Same on OnlyFans?
OnlyFans haven't got there yet, man. I'm trying. Hey, listen. I told my boy Chad, go on there and support my boy Chad. He's a single man. He is a single man. Myself and Devin, both very married. We are committed. Chad, we've been trying to get him on Feet Finder. We've been trying to get him on dude.
Hey, if someone's going to pay that man's salary to see his feet, there is no price. As a man, you will not diminish your manhood at all if you get some idiot to pay that. So that's all I'm saying. I will be in the nail salon, be like, yeah, I want my feet did.
I want them ugly.
I need you to burn that corn off.
Bad we can get, man.
So, all right. Well, thanks for coming on, Kip. It was great talking with you.
Hey, fellas.
Appreciate coming on, buddy.
So we're going to end the podcast. Don't leave just yet, but we are going to end the stream.